Welcome back to Sci-Fi Book Trek. Today we'll be reviewing Off to Be the Wizard by Scott Meyer. We'll start with information about the book.
So, Off to Be the Wizard is described as a comic fantasy novel set between a mix of present-day America and medieval England, and it follows the exploits of the character of Martin Banks. It's written by the author Scott Meyer, and it's the first in a series of books that is titled Magic 2.0.
And see what he did there? That was more research than Scott bothered to do in his entire fucking life.
That's my third monocle this week. I simply must stop being so horrified.
Which brings us on to the author himself. The author, Scott Oscar Meyer, is an American author born in 1971 in Sunnyside, Washington. His website bio tells us that he has been a radio DJ, stand-up comic, writer for video games, office manager, and pretend ghost bellhop. He currently lives in Arizona. Before writing the Magic 2.0 series, he posted a thrice-weekly webcomic on his live journal called Basic Instructions, which started in 2003. The internet can't decide whether this book was printed in 2013 or 2014, so we've opted to go for the latter, as that's what is printed on his website and in my paper copy. Which brings us on to publication year.
Yes. In this year, 2014, the ESA spacecraft Rosetta landed its little probe Philly onto a comet. It's the first in history that's been accomplished.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the comet did send some signals, then kind of failed because it span out of orbit. But
Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong.
it still succeeded in sort of landing and grappling on.
Plenty of accomplishments are built on failure.
Yeah. I mean, it showed the technology worked and everything, so it did give back some data.
Cool. I couldn't find much in terms of happy news articles. I mean, the first thing that I could find is this is the year that Russia annexed the Crimea.
Yes.
Which is a great start, isn't it?
Well, I do say start as you mean to go on. You're going to be a dick? Carry on being a dick.
Putting the dick in dictator.
Yep. For my second story, it's a little odd, but the world's earliest astrolabe was found. It was found in a shipwreck of the Esmeralda, the coast of Oman. It was a Portuguese shipwreck, and they found an astrolabe in that. And astrolabes used to navigate.
The only real experience, I know this is going to seem really odd, the only real experience I have of that device is when Homer bought one for himself for Christmas.
This is our finest talking astrolabe. It also comes with a notepad and pen that works upside down.
Well, this one they reckon was made around and used around 1496.
Okay.
So it's the oldest one known to have existed.
Yeah, my second result. Scotland votes against independence from the United Kingdom.
Yes. Once in a lifetime generation vote, which they want another one now.
Yes.
Almost 10 years on.
Yourself?
Right. Well, my last one is about movies that came out this year. And they include Interstellar.
That's on my list, yes.
Yes, as big one.
Well, it's a maneuver
Paddington.
Oh, I completely missed out on that one.
Yeah, but it was a British one, so I thought I'd throw it in.
Keep your eyes down. There's some sort of bear over there, probably selling something.
Good evening.
No, thank you.
And of course, What We Do in the Shadows.
Hey, listen, we're just having a flat meeting upstairs in about 10 minutes. You don't have to come, but I thought I'd extend an invitation to you just in case.
So I've got a American film, a British film, and a New Zealand film.
My list was Interstellar, Maze Runner, and Lucy. The final one being so utterly beyond the realms of science fiction that you actually think it was complete bullshit. Shall we go into the book review itself?
Yes. So, we'll try and give no spoilers, but we will give a brief overview of the setup and the story synopsis.
So, as I've already mentioned, the genre for the book is characterised as, at least according to the author's own words, is comic fantasy. So this is obviously not a usual science fiction story that we would usually do. It's got very tentative links to science fiction. However, it was our first request.
Yeah, but comic fantasy is still a big genre. The big heavyweight in that is probably Pratchett. Of course. But there are a number of other authors.
Yeah. But again, the setting, as I've already mentioned, is sort of a different. It's a hopping back and forth between America and medieval England, although it's more of a sort of fantasy setting medieval England rather than it being what you would consider as traditional.
It's more like medieval England via D&D campaign.
Yes, that's
rather than
that's a pretty good
any relation to medieval England.
Braid.
I would loosely say if you have any knowledge of medieval England, just like passing basic knowledge, like what you just pick up. You grew up up in the UK, you just get little bits from osmosis. This book might not be for you. It doesn't feel like medieval England that anyone knowledgeable or has even glanced at the rough topic would recognise.
I would agree that this does require a lot of suspension of disbelief.
Yes. Even with some of the IT stuff, shall we say, at the beginning.
Yes.
It's mostly you can just hand wave some of it away, but it is meant to be just there for fun, light-hearted adventure romp.
Would you like to talk about the characters?
The main character is Martin. He's a 25-year-old, and he sort of does some sort of computing job or something. It's never really defined, but anyway, he finds a way to change specs about himself and also teleport himself back into the past. Finding out, he might not be the first one who's done this, and just having fun in that setting.
I've got more characters myself.
Yeah, there are, I would say, honestly, there's Martin and Phil. That would be the main two characters.
Martin, for me, came off as an insufferable jackhole right at the start of the book. He does somewhat mellow, but I also would argue that he's...
Yes. He's still an insufferable jackass.
There is a hint of a character arc, I would say, but...
Slightly, maybe. But, yeah, I think you would have to look for it. Then it's really in your face.
Like you say, the other character that stand out is Philip, who takes on his mentor role. He's likeable enough. He seems to have been doing it a lot longer.
Oh, yeah.
Seems quite experienced.
Not to give away too much spoilers, but yeah.
It kind of comes off like Dumbledore, but a little bit more easygoing.
Yeah. Like, Philip is probably the first character I sort of really liked. There are a few others that I did kind of when, like, I could gravitate towards these people as opposed to the main character.
My other two characters, I'll start off with Jimmy, first of all, because he's easily the one that you can talk about the least. He's characterized as an old foe of Philip, and there is a relationship there that gets expanded on as the story goes on, but he doesn't really take part in much of the proceedings until much later to the end, as you've already said.
He doesn't seem like a character, he seems like a plot point.
Yes, he's a device.
Yeah, and I would say the third main character would be Gwen, and she's just severely underwritten and shoved to the sidelines.
She's Smurfette.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of issues with the character, not least of which is the author can't actually write a female character from just based on this.
I think there's a lot of male characters he can't write. But like, I don't think the main thrust of this book was just be a bit silly and whimsical and like, oh, what would you do if ... You know, I think that's the main thrust of the book, and if you go with that, you might have a good time. Like, some people have reviewed this and gave it good stars. Like, the person who recommended it to us, he liked it enough to recommend it, and
he's going to be firebombing his house later.
No. I wasn't angry with him. I wasn't disappointed with him. I was just questioning humanity's right to exist. If we have got this far and this is what we're doing, it's like, that's all.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go on to our recommendations.
Okay.
Because I think we're treading into that anyway. But right then, recommendations.
I'd like you to go first.
Do not fucking read this. Do not pay money for this. Do not even look at its general vicinity. If you know anything, like even the tiniest of details about anything historical, throw this away. This is awful. Like, the author obviously did zero research. Absolutely zero research. Now, I say that, he did look up two things. He looked up the name of the king and the name of the child. Which leads to other issues. Like, historical issues, which he just did not read anymore. He just looked up the name and went, that'll do. That's the only research I think he ever did. Even with this IT stuff, he went, what is computer language in ASCII? Oh, he programs in ASCII. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's like he did like, I would like to say the bare minimum of research. No, he didn't even do that. This feels boned in. Like, I understand. Fair enough, have a whimsical thing. Don't set it in the actual time period you've done. Set it 500 years before. Then you might get away with some of this shit. 2, like, if you're going to have a whimsical plotline, have some whimsy and fun in it. Have maybe some comedy. Or is that too much of a stretch?
There's two kinds of funny, Brendan, right?
Okay.
Okay, there's mean funny, which is, when you make fun of someone
Yeah.
and get laughs at their expense. You know, like stuffing that nerdy kid in the locker. What's his name?
Brian?
Carlo, the Italian kid.
Oh, right, Carlo.
With a funny accent. That's funny, too. Accents are funny.
Okay, yeah, but I don't see how that's gonna help. I mean...
Then there's nice funny, like maybe a little light sarcasm or a clever twist. Or a knock-knock joke. I like those. You like those? Knock-knock.
Huh.
Brendan, knock-knock. I'm doing a knock-knock joke.
Okay,
Knock-knock.
right. Hello?
What do you mean, hello?
Okay.
Do not read. Do not look at. Do not. Hey, what did you think of it?
I'm kind of worried that you're going to leap across that fucking table at me.
I'm saving that for spoilers.
I didn't hate it. Certainly not with the passion of 1,000 suns that you seem to have.
And forced me to unleash upon you the vengeful flames of 1,000 suns.
Problems. It does have a lot of issues with the way that it's written, and it does have a lot of issues with its exploration of its concepts. It brings up concepts and just literally goes, I thought about this, and then he throws the concepts away. As far as a science fiction book, yeah, this isn't a science fiction book, so thanks for that. You know who you are.
I don't know. I could argue maybe it is science fiction. I would also argue it's crap.
But, yeah.
I mean, it does have time travel in it. It is, technological based. So it's like...
The magic system is based on computer programming.
Yes. Not to give away too much spoilers, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn that nearly at the start, so... But yeah, what's your opinion of it?
Again, I'll say I didn't hate it. I would give this a sort of a meh review, but it's not a dislike. It's very much a middle of the road. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed kind of sitting there and reading it, but it's very much a turn your brain off type book. You're not going to get any substance out of this. It is pure junk food as far as it's a junk food book for me. There's nothing to get your teeth into. It's a whimsical romp through the Middle Ages in a tentative sort of fantasy setting, and you can kind of read a little bit deeper into it, but I think the themes are incidental, if that. I'd have to talk about that in spoilers.
Yeah.
The theme's an incidental one that has come up basically because I've been overthinking it for the review. And there's a lot of problems with the way that the girl, Gwen, is in the book, which I'm hoping is because he's just incompetent and doesn't know how to write women. However, again, touch that in spoilers. But like I say, I don't hate it, I don't love it. It's more of a middle of the road. So that's where I fall on that.
Fair enough. You're allowed that opinion.
Please don't kill me.
So, I think we'll leave it there.
Yes.
Next week we'll be doing a spoiler review, and warning to little ones, there will be swearing involved.
There was swearing involved in this one.
I know, but there's going to be a lot more in the spoilers. Oh my god, there's going to be a lot more. Anyway, if you don't want to join us for that, join us in a fortnight's time for another review on another book. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Do you want me to continue?
By all means.
The author, Scott Oscar Meyer, is...